All right, so let's expand the discourse, talking about the significance of today being Easter Monday. We have in the studio Reverend Tom Takpatore. I beg your pardon, Reverend. Thank you very much for joining us on the news, and happy Easter Monday to you.
Thank you very much for having me, Ruth, and happy Easter to you Nigerians.
Thank you very much. He's the senior pastor at Fourth Baptist Church here in Abuja. So let's look at the significance of this remarkable day, talking about Easter Monday. And of course, Galilee, the meeting at Galilee holds great significance, especially when we look at the life and times of Jesus Christ, the miracles he performed, you know, the whole essence of going back to Galilee at the end of it. So you tell us.
Now, you know that for the disciples, the past 3-4 days had been seasons of gloom, of pain, of shame, wherein they had given up. And for them, all about this man of Galilee was over. But then came the resurrection. The resurrection was for them not only the resurrection of Christ, but also the resurrection of hope, of life, of joy. And so the return to the base where the ministry started. Of course, most of the disciples were called from Galilee, and the return to base was a return of joy, a return of celebration. For them that thought that it was over, they were revitalized to say, wow, something is real and it's happening. Indeed, in all of history, none had died and resurrected back to life the way this Jesus did. And so for them, this was a restoration, and this was transforming for them as well.
Indeed, and the meeting there at Galilee, you know, opens a new chapter talking about for Christians all over the world in fulfillment of the scriptures. Looking at our daily lives today, what does it say to us beyond this whole celebration?
For us, it's a source of courage. No matter how dark life may have been, darkness does not have the final say.
Yeah.
No matter how sad, no matter how painful, there is light, there is joy, there is resurrection, and there is hope. And this same Jesus who died and was buried and rose again can bring resurrection, can bring life, can bring joy into our situations. And for us as a nation, this is also a message of hope. No matter how hard things may be, no matter how dark things may be, darkness does not have the final say. The resurrected Lord said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, is the one that has the answer, and he is the one that has the final answer to all our situations.
Taking a look at the exemplary life of Jesus Christ, Christians today are expected to follow lead, you know, in terms of the way we conduct ourselves. Our lifestyle must reflect Jesus Christ, because Easter celebration is very significant if we want to look at salvation for Christians all over the world. What do you say about this?
For us, we need to go out there and preach the message of Easter. First and foremost, with our lifestyles, with our characters, to show that we have indeed encountered him. And this was what happened to the early disciples, that they were called Christians, people who had encountered Christ. In short, at a point, they said, they observed that these people, they didn't have education, but there was a difference in the way they lived their lives. And so that difference needs to reflect in the way we live our lives as well. And then also to preach and tell people the truth about the gospel, about this life-giving Jesus, about this life-transforming Jesus, and also to reach out to people who are in despair, people who are in hopelessness, to encourage them, to lift up their heads to the light that was brought by this Jesus Christ who resurrected from the dead.
And Reverend, beyond the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, let's expand it to nation building. I noticed, this weekend, many people didn't really go out to do the whole merrymaking as Easter celebration ought to be like. I'm sure you observe that too.
Yes,
but it's not about the celebration. It's about, preaching the gospel, like you said, but more importantly, expressing that action of humility and peace. How do we relate with our brothers and sisters?
For us as Nigeria, the past few years, we've really experienced darkness. We've experienced all kinds of challenges from the insurgents and, of course, of recent, some of the challenges we've had not only with election, with fuel, with the cashlessness, and it's been quite depressing for a lot of people. And the message of Easter is very relevant here, that there is hope, there is light at the other end of the tunnel. And so we need to go out there to encourage people to have hope, to encourage people not to give up, and to encourage people that the light will shine again. And Nigeria is a country that has so much potentials, and we need to look up to God, we need to trust God. But then also, we need to also reach out to one another. You have 2 cups of water, you can give a cup to someone who is thirsty, someone who is in need. And we also need to go out with this message of the resurrection. Nigeria needs to be resurrected out of the darkness that we are currently going through, and we are in basically most of the facets of our national life. We need to put our hearts together, our hands together, work together to build a great nation. Nigeria has so much potentials, but these raw materials are useless if we don't harness these potentials towards the building of our nation and towards the building of our land. I really plead with us as Nigerians, we should not allow this country to go down the drains. There's so much that God has invested, that God has blessed us with, human resources, material resources. Please, Nigerians, let's work together and build a great nation.
Thank you very much, Reverend. You've just hit the nail on the head. Of course, having that spirit of love, humility and peace, most especially, is very important if we must continue to build the nation of our dream. Thank you, Reverend Tom Takpatore. Thank you for your time with us on the news.
Thank you, Ruth, for
having me. And enjoy the holiday.
Thank you. You too.
I will. Why working anyway?
Yeah. Happy Easter to you, Nigerians.
All right. Okay, still on the Easter